So we are starting tomatoes farming this year, and I'm here with the CEO of Osborg Agric Enterprise, the Boachi Yadom. Like we said in the previous video, we'll be doing lettuce and also doing cucumber. And in addition to these two vegetables, we also want to add tomatoes to it. So Mr. Boachi is here to educate us on tomatoes farming. Then you see all the process in the subsequent videos too. Mr. Boachi, you're welcome.
Thank you, Na.
Okay, so take us through tomatoes production, how to grow tomatoes. If I want to go into tomatoes farming, what are the things that I need?
Before we talk about tomatoes farming, the process and everything, let me tell you that tomatoes is one of the used vegetables in Ghana, not in Ghana and all parts of the world. Okay. Yes, and as we are speaking now, Ghana, our tomatoes needs almost 800,000 metric tons, but we are able to produce almost just 450,000 metric tons. So we have a deficit of production. So tomato is a very lucrative business in Ghana because we import a lot of tomatoes. Okay. Yeah.
But why did you suggest we should do tomatoes in addition to this? I just want to know why you wanted us to do tomatoes at this time of the year.
Yes. I wanted to do tomatoes this type of the year because of this year, the trend of tomato import from our neighboring countries, Burkina Faso, and because of there are small fighting, or let's say the women, when they go, they are not even getting tomatoes. Okay. So from January coming, I think the cost of tomatoes in Ghana is very high. Even as I'm speaking now, it's still very high. So it's better we know process of tomatoes so that going forward, either we can produce tomatoes like let's say home farming or any available piece of land that you get, you start producing tomatoes that you are going to use, because maybe from now to next year, March, April, the cost of tomatoes will be very, very high. So we want to start early to prepare ourselves so that we can do something before that doom days comes.
Okay, so right now, take us through the preparation. What type of land is suitable for growing tomatoes?
What type of land suitable for tomato?
Yes.
Sandy loamy is good for tomato.
Okay.
But notwithstanding, Ghana, most of the lands are good for vegetables. In 16 regions, about maybe 10 regions, maybe more than 10 regions, about 10 to 12 regions, tomatoes do well. But particularly when you go to Asante region, Sabronumu, Akomadan, you see they do tomatoes there. When you go to Brunafo region, Tichumai, Tewodom and Enclaves, tomatoes production is there. When you come to Greater Accra region, you go to Adan, Sege, tomato production. So tomatoes do well in all parts in most of the regions in Ghana. Okay. And now we can also grow tomatoes, as I said first, in the home garden method. You can get some containers. We talk about it later. You fill your loamy soil, then you can just put it at the edge of your wall. Okay. And it also do well.
Okay, so I think in our next video we can talk about this
the home garden.
The home garden.
Yeah, it's very important.
How to manage it because of the nutrient and those things. So
yes.
We'll talk about that in one of our videos. So after you get your land, or you get your land with the good soil, like you're saying, what about the seed? Do you have varieties of seed?
Yeah, we have varieties of seeds. We have a certified wine, like Petomic, Tropemic, Roma Savannah, they love. And we have now a hybrid like Cobra. There are a lot of tomatoes varieties. And we have Syngenta. That one is good for... and one thing about tomato, we have some seed good for open field. And also this greenhouse. We have some tomato varieties do well at this greenhouse effect, and we have the one for open field. But for the open field, we have a lot of varieties.
Are they local or they are all hybrid?
Certified. And we have local one, we have certified one, and we have hybrid one. Okay,
so the one we are going to do, is it hybrid or?
We are going to do the certified one. Certified. Yes, yes. The Petomic, Tropemic, Petomic, Tropemic, Roma Savannah, UC48. We have a lot of varieties.
Okay, so watching.
Yes.
You like promoting hybrid stuff. So why didn't we go for the hybrid tomatoes?
Yes. For the hybrid tomato, you see the one I talk about is not in the system. The Cobra.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not in the system. That is why. But this one too is very good.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about the petromic and tropic. That's why they use at Adan and other areas. Sige, Adan is very good. It's very good. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so after you select your seed and you are convinced about the seed you want to use, now what's the next thing?
After you select your seed, you get your land. Then it comes to land preparation.
Okay.
Yeah, tomatoes, land preparation for tomatoes, it depends on the region where you are going to do your farming. As I said, for Sige and Ada, they use plowing land. So they prepare the land through plowing.
Okay.
After they plow the land, then those who have money, they can also use this harrower. So that it will just lay the ridges.
Okay.
Very good. And if you go to Asante region, Bunahafu region, and other regions where they cannot use tractor because of the nature of the land, for that one they use normal ridges.
Okay.
Yes, labor. They use labor mounds or ridges, and it's good. And even in some forest zone, they even plant the tomatoes on the soil directly.
Okay.
Yes, and still
it still does well.
Still does well, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
So land preparation in tomatoes too is very important.
So now after the seed, you get your seed. What's the next thing we're going to do?
After the seed, land preparation, tomato is one of the vegetables that you cannot plant it direct. If you want to plant it direct, it's very difficult.
Okay. So
you have to prepare your nursery.
Okay.
You have to prepare your nursery. Tomato, you have to prepare your nursery before you do transplanting. So when you prepare the nursery preparation is very important because you are going to transplant the nursery to the field. So if you don't prepare the nursery well, you can even transform some diseases like nematodes from the nursery bed to the field.
So how do you make sure you prepare the nursery well?
Yes, for nursery preparation is also one topic, but let me use some few minutes to explain. You first make your square ridge. Either you use a nursery tray. Okay. But for nursery tree, if the land is very big, it will be maybe tedious. So you can use a mouse. Yes. You prepare the mouse very neat. Then you spread the seed on it.
So that means you raise the beds.
Beds. When you raise the bed, then you spread the seed on it.
Okay.
After you spread the seed on it, then you add some small sand or the small soil on the seed. Okay. Then you use watering can. Or any available tool that you can use to water the bed. Okay. After watering, then you cover it with maybe, if you are in villages, you can get maybe branches of palm branches. Okay. Or maybe banana or plantain branches. Then you cover it. When you cover it, tomato, when you do the nursery, after 3-4 days, it starts shooting. Okay. So let us by 5 to 6 days, you just remove the branches or the leaves that you put it on top of the nursery bed. Okay. Then you use it as a shade if it is raining or if it is sunning to control the rains and the sun. So when you do that.
Before we continue, we still have some of farmland available. If you are planning to go into farming, but you still don't have a land, you can get in touch with me. My contact will be on the screen and the description section. You get in touch with me and we'll take you through the process so that you can be able to get yours as soon as possible. It's simple. You can cultivate coconut, the palm, maize, plantain, cashew, rice, and cassava, and so many other crops. So depending on what you want to do, we will tell where we will allocate for you. So get in touch with me and we can be able to take you through that. It's a simple process. Mr. Boachi contact will also be on the screen. If you need any agri input or anything concerning agri for consultation and everything, get in touch with him. His contact will be on the screen and the description section. He can be able to assist you with so many information.
About 2 weeks to 3 weeks, when the soil is good, you can start transplanting. Okay. Yes.
Okay. And so also during the demonstration, we have our seed here. We'll be doing the demonstration of the nursery so that you see it with your eyes.
Yes. Okay. And also the nursery is very important because, as I said, you are going to transplant from the nursery bed to the field. Okay. So if there's a diseases, you can transport the same diseases. So at times it's very important. You need a chemical called carbodem or fuladan. That you can to treat the soil before. Okay. But if you're 100% sure the soil is very good, no fears, then you can use it like that. Even if it's good, after everything, you can use some lambda to spray around.
Okay.
If there may be some ants and other pests that can disturb the nursery.
Okay.
So you have to protect the nursery, because if the nursery is not healthy, then maybe your farm too will not be healthy.
That's going to be a sick farm.
Yes, it's a sick farm. That's why
Okay.
you can use that one.
After you get to the transplanting period, that's it. Is it 2 to 3 weeks, right?
Yes.
Okay. How do you do the transplanting?
The transplanting, meaning you are coming to plant.
Yeah.
Then you come to the planting distance. Yes, the tomatoes planting distance is about 18 to 24 inches.
18 to
24 inches. Yes.
Okay.
And in some areas, as I said, when they raise beds, they use a reasonable distance. Yes, and also it depends on the variety of tomatoes that you are going to use. There are some tomatoes that they have a lot of canopy.
Okay.
For that one, it's very important to make the planting distance somehow wide. Okay. So it depending on your location. At times in tomatoes production, planting distance is important, but not all that important in some places. I say not all that important in some places because, as I said, some tomato varieties cross. Have you seen? Yes. We have the crawling ones.
Okay.
Very good. For if you're using that varieties, the planting distance will be different from other varieties. Yes.
Okay.
And tomatoes too, if the planting distance is even wide, and you get a good season because of a canopy, it will come together.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So you know the first tomatoes that I did.
Yeah.
Like I think another time I told you about it.
Yes.
I was asked to use the lines.
Okay.
So that it can crawl on the lines.
Yeah.
And then but I've also noticed some people don't use that. Is it because that kind of tomatoes was a crawling one, or that practice is good? I mean, what's the difference?
It's not even there are some tomatoes too that even they don't want the crawling system, you just leave it on the bed so that it can form canopy and cover the bed.
Okay.
And it will bear a lot of fruit.
Okay.
That's why I said the variety is very important. Yeah.
Okay, so it depending on the variety.
Varieties, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now, how deep should the hole be? Because I think I've seen a couple of videos where the hole was kind of deep.
Yeah.
So I just want to know, how deep should the hole be?
The deepest of the hole would depend on the size of the seed. So the size of the nursery. Let's assume the nursery before you transplant is like it's less than 6 inches.
Okay.
Have you seen? If the nursery itself is less than 6 inches, and if you want to go if you want to plant it deep for maybe 5 inches, what is going to happen?
That's going to disturb.
Yes.
Okay.
So it depends on the height of the nursery. That will determine the depth or the depth of the tomatoes.
The hole. Okay.
The hole. Okay. Yeah, and tomatoes too, it has a surface root. That's why I made mention of a very good nursery. If you have a very good seed, very good nursery, even when it enters the soil, just a soft distance, it can do well because it has a surface root. Okay. It's not like other crops that they have a deep roots.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now after you do your transplanting, how do you care for the plants? Do you need to be watering it, or you can leave it like that? Depending
on the time you start your tomatoes. You see, tomatoes is one of the vegetables that is I can say is all season.
Okay.
When I say it's all season, it depends on availability of water. We are in November. Today is the end of November.
Yeah.
But you can still start your tomatoes if you have irrigation system.
Okay.
Or if you have some small source of water. Because tomatoes farming, the yield of tomatoes farming does not depend on the size of the farm. It depends on the care. You may have just maybe half acre or quarter acre, but if you keep it well, you can get a lot of yield. Okay. Yes, that is tomatoes for you.
Okay, so when you do the transplanting the first day, should you water it or you can leave it without? Because I know with the lettuce we did, we watered it the first day, second day we came morning and evening. So does it also apply to tomatoes too?
Tomato is one of the strong vegetables so far as transplanting is concerned. If it is raining, you see, the rainy season will be different from the dry season. Okay. The best time for tomatoes maybe around May, June, July is good, and October too is good. Okay. Yes. When it is raining, after you plow the land and it rains, you can transplant after rains. Or when you transplant and maybe 2-3 days it rains, it will have no problem. And tomatoes too, it doesn't It doesn't fear hot weather too much.
Okay.
I'm talking about the nursery, not the if the weather is hot or is sandy and you transplant for the morning to around 12 o'clock, when you go and see the farm, you may think that, oh, all my nursery is dead. But early in the morning, when you wake up and go, you see that they are all flourishing. The next time that you go, when it's sunny, it will come down. So by 3 days, when it wake up, it will not go down again.
So when you do the transplanting,
yeah.
should you water it or you should leave it without watering?
If it's a dry season, if the soil is not wet, after transplanting, you have to water.
Okay.
And it can take you about 2-3 days without watering.
Okay.
Unlike this thing, lettuce, that every day you have to water it. Because lettuce is very complicated. That is why it's not like tomatoes.
All right. So now you have planted you have finished with your transplanting, and then your tomatoes is doing well. Now, how do you take care of it again? Do you, in terms of pest control?
Before you come to pest control, even the nutrient is important.
Yes.
Tomatoes too, we apply fertilizers. Yeah, we need fertilizers in tomatoes.
Fertilizer?
In tomatoes production, 15-15 is good. As I said, the NPK, when we treated the NPK the last time, I said for vegetables, you have to get the NPK with 15-15-15. Okay. The nitrogen 15, phosphorus 15, and potassium 15.
Okay.
Because tomatoes or vegetables don't like a lot of nitrogen. Yeah, if you use more nitrogen fertilizers, when you harvest your tomatoes, when you cut the tomatoes, you see that the tomatoes are already red, but inside is green.
Oh,
and also the fruit will be very big. If you buy vegetables, even not tomato alone, tomatoes or eggplants or any other vegetables, when you put it in the fridge, but the next day or two, when you pick and you spread it, you see it has started to rotten, going bad. Because of the nitrogen content of the production. When the nitrogen is too much, that is one sign. So in tomato production, if you want to use any fertilizer, use the NPK with the lowest nitrogen.
Okay.
And use the NPK with the highest phosphorus and potassium. That will be good for tomatoes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it for the fertilizer application.
Yes.
Then what about the weed control?
Yeah. Before we come to the weed control, the time of applying the fertilizer is very important.
Okay.
If the land is not good, 2 weeks after transplanting, 2 to 3 weeks after transplanting, you can use top dressing method.
Okay.
And in some places too, they don't use the top dressing method at the initial stage. They use what they call a starter. When they say starter, they mix the NPK with water. Okay. A solution, NPK solution. They apply it under the tomatoes. Okay. So that it can grow fast. That's one method. Okay. Yeah. And in areas like Akumadan, Tichimai, and Tebodom, when after ridges, they can also they use some hoe to recover the tomatoes. Okay. For that place, they use second application. For that one, they do the top dressing before they recover the tomatoes with another soil. Because for that place, maybe that tomato, they have some tomatoes that grow very long. So when they grow the tomatoes after 3 weeks, they use hoe to add another soil to the already 4 months, so that it can cover some edges of the tomatoes. Oh, okay. They use that method, but for that they use it at maybe Asante region, Brunhafu region, and other region. I've not seen that in Greater Accra, like Segi and Ada. Oh, okay. So that is how the tomatoes fertilizer application. And tomato as a vegetable too, you can also apply liquid fertilizers after the top dressing, and that one too is best. Okay. Yeah. So after that, what about the pest control? Do we have a specific pest that worries tomato? Tomatoes too, we have some diseases and pests that also okay. But one disease that disturbs tomato the most is the nematode, and it is very difficult to treat. Okay. Yes, because nematodes, they are inside the soil. Okay. That is why I've made mention of the nursery bed. If you don't treat the nursery bed carefully, then you transport the nematode to the soil. So how do you know you have nematodes in tomatoes? Yes, if you want to see that the tomato is suffering from nematodes, you see the tomato is there and it is dying. Oh, okay. Yes.
Wow.
So when you remove the tomato, you see the root has started caring. It has a caring root,
Oh, okay.
meaning that there's a lot of nematodes in the soil.
So how do you treat it?
We have chemical called nematicide.
Oh, okay.
That we use to treat
nematodes.
But in the best way, if you treat the nursery bed well, I think it can also solve about 40% of the nematodes problem. Yeah.
Okay. And then when I was doing tomatoes, I had an issue where my flowers were falling. Whenever it starts flowering, you see the flowers falling.
And that is flower abortion.
Okay, so when you experience that, what do you do? How do you control it?
We have causes of flower abortion.
Okay.
Yeah, the tomato will not just stand there and the start. No. It has a cause.
Okay.
And one cause may be a deficiency in nutrients.
Okay.
If the nutrient level in the soil is not good, it can cause that. And also weather can cause flower abortion.
Okay.
Yes, if the water is not stable, it can cause flower abortion.
Okay.
And also when you are spraying tomatoes and there is no any diseases, the diseases is not all that, the disease infection is not all that great, you don't use more insecticide.
Okay.
Yes, if you use more insecticide, it can also cause flower abortion.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so anytime in a tomatoes production, when you are spraying, the amount of chemicals that you use when it's flowering stage is very important. Yes, you use a lot of maybe fungicide if they are fungi, then you use a lot of fungicide and then insecticide, just a few for the first sprayer. Then next one to, if there is no insect or diseases, you can even ignore the insecticide.
Okay.
Have you see?
Yeah.
Then you see if there's maybe a fungi or anything. And we have some fungicide which is copper-based fungicide, and they also, like mangozam, they also help in flowering. So if you get that flower good, we have something called flower good. It helps the tomatoes to bear a lot of flowers. And so if you start using that one too, I think it's going to do. And we have a chemical to that prevent flower abortion.
Okay.
Yes.
It takes 3 weeks to transplant, right?
Yes, please.
Then after transplanting, how long will it take for the tomatoes plant to start flowering? And after, when it starts flowering, how long will it take for it to start bearing fruit?
The whole cycle is 65 to 80 days.
80 days.
Yes.
Okay.
So after 20 days, 20 to 25 days, depending on the type of varieties. Some varieties start the flowering very early.
Okay.
Yes, added to maybe after a month, 2 months before it starts flowering.
Oh, okay.
And that's how it depends on the variety.
Oh,
yes.
All right. Okay. So let's assume if I have 1 acre, or on 1 acre.
Yeah.
How many plants, or what's the plant population?
The plant population for 1 acre, you see, you need 100 grams of tomatoes for 1 acre. I'm talking about the nursery. Yes, 100 grams in tomatoes. Unlike cabbage, is also equivalent to maybe 10 to 15,000 seedlings per 100 gram. Yeah, but 100 gram will be good. And when you talk of 1 acre, as I said, you see the measurement of acres it varies. At times it's even poor. I went to central region to inspect some land, and they measure in poles.
Okay.
Yes, that is how they call it 1 acre. But the pole is also even less than 1 acre.
Okay.
Yeah, so in the normal circumstances, 100 grams. When you do the nursery weight, I think it can cover the 1 acre. Yeah.
Okay, so now you know how to plant tomatoes right from the beginning, the land preparation, and then the seed selection. Okay. Yeah. Now we'll be talking about the next thing we'll be talking about is the finance aspect, the money aspect. Okay, so in our next video we're going to talk about how much you need to invest, or you can invest in tomatoes farming for 1 acre, and then the profit you stand to making 1 acre of tomatoes farm. If you have any question you want us to do a video for you, let us know that in the comment section, so that in our next video we'll try to address your question, or we can make a video for you. Now let's go to our nursery bed. We are going to create the bed and see how we do the nursery, so that will also serve as a guide for you to be able to start your tomatoes farming. It's not too late. This is the right time to do tomatoes, so that you can be able to make something from the market. Let's go.
That you are using for the nursery, we can use this one.
Okay.
But because it's at times it's heavy, maybe when it falls on the nursery, on the seed, yeah, it will maybe it will find it some difficult to germinate early. Not that, yeah, not that it will not come out. It will come out, but it will come at least. Yeah, it will struggle. That's why at times you need a very light, sandy soil to cover the.
So